Hey there. 5.1 just got released by OpenAI, and that is a interesting as a release, especially when it pertains for building AI voice agents and using it for AI voice agents. Now, it comes with a promise of delivering less latency, or reduced latency. That is because compared to its predecessor, so GPT-5 model, it has none set as reasoning. So that means that it basically runs on, here it says none, but probably low reasoning, which in turn actually makes it faster. So that could be a really good, let's say, potential use case for AI voice applications, given that latency is one of the most important when it comes to running a natural phone conversation. But what I found testing these new models is that compared to the 4 saga, so the 4.0 and the 4, not nano, but 4.1 that we have here, we need to publish in order to see, let's say, the differences. So the 4.1 and 4.0, not the nano and not the mini models, like the normal models, are running below, let's say, 1 second, basically in latency, which is what we want to aim for overall to have, let's say, fast and reasonably quick conversations. Now, I have done a previous video where, I talked about the 5 models, like 5 mini, 5 nano, and 5, that tend to have a bit of a higher latency. So what one would expect is that with this 5.1 release, this would be solved. But what happens is that when we go ahead and actually test, or at least see the benchmarks when it comes to the latency, 5.1 is still quite heavy, when it comes to the latency. It's slightly better than 5, but still, let's say, quite above the 1 second mark, which we would like to aim for. Now, and that is quite surprising. I personally would have expected that 5.1 would have been, faster. But in this case, the 5 saga seems to be a bit more of a heavier, or at least more heavy on the phone conversations. So for the moment being, I would not recommend using it as much when it comes to phone interactions, as long as you don't need as much reasoning or as much capability that you could not get with the 4.0 and 4.1. For now, though, the 4.0 and personally the 4.1 will remain my favorite models, specifically 4.1 because it allows for a longer token window. If I'm not mistaken, it has 1 million token window when it comes to context. And it tends to be more, let's say, adherent to the prompt and the instructions that you actually give it. So that, at least for my style of prompting, tends to mesh better. Now, I am curious to see the release of 4.1 mini and nano. I want to see, let's say, if there is a significant improvement when it comes to the latency. And probably there we might see some interesting insights. As of now, these have not come out in at least Vapi, probably also retail. But once they do, make sure to keep you updated on that, because that might actually be a better, let's say, better suited for AI voice models. Yeah, because overall, when it comes to the 4 saga, I don't personally like to use the 4.1 mini, 4.0 mini, just because they might not have as good as, let's say, tool calling feature as the 4.1 and 4.0. But that might be different for 5.1 mini, where it might have the same capability of tool calling as a 4.1 or 4.0. So that will be a very interesting to see. But for now, I would stick for 4.0 and 4.1. But updates might come, so we'll make sure to keep you updated. With that said, I thank you for your attention, and I see you in the next video.